iOS 17.2 is going to bring a feature that people have been asking for a very long time, and that is side loading. So if you already saw the video I posted earlier about side loading, it's basically going to be restricted only towards individuals in the European Union. But now that that is going to be a little bit closer to reality, it's time to dive a little bit deeper into side loading. Who does it benefit? Who does it hurt? And that way you can make an educated decision regarding side loading. The first group that would benefit from side loading are users. Those would be the users that would like to have the ability to download applications from outside of Apple's App Store. And we've seen over the years a lot of Game Boy Advance emulators. Having that ability to have basically a Game Boy on your phone, if you're as old as I am, that sounds like an appealing idea. You can get to play all the games you played growing up. It actually goes beyond just games. You can actually have different apps, like for example, maybe an app that would actually scan everything in your room and tell you what it is without you having to take the picture first and then go to the photo and then wait for the phone to process the photo and determine what it is. That's a possibility that could be realized with side loading. The second group that would benefit would be the developers who actually put their apps on third-party app stores. These developers will skirt around Apple's 30% fee for in-app purchases, which I think 90% of apps have in-app purchases nowadays. It's going to allow developers, especially small developers, and obviously the bigger ones like Epic and maybe Meta, but in terms of small developers, they'll be able to keep more of their profit and invest that back into their business. The third group would be the developers who actually create the third-party app stores. So those guys would definitely benefit because, like the previous group, they don't have to pay Apple that 30% fee. They can actually charge as much as they want while cutting Apple out of any revenue. Epic, for example, could charge users maybe 40% or 25%, and they don't have to worry about giving a portion of that to Apple. Like with all things, there are balances. And as much as some people would benefit from side loading, there are other individuals that may actually get harmed from side loading. And the first group will be individuals who are not tech savvy. These individuals would be able to download any app and they don't know how well it's optimized. They don't know if the app is actually going to do what it's advertised to do or just collect a ton of information in the background. Granted, there are apps in the App Store that do this. Once it's a third-party app store, those apps don't have to apply the same rules that they would normally have to apply if they were distributing their apps through the App Store. You can definitely see the potential for this to be abused by developers who may not have the best intentions. Apple is actually going to be the group that's going to be most impacted by side loading. And that is because they're not getting that 30% revenue, which is a very large chunk of their overall revenue outside of the iPhone, for example. It's going to force Apple to be more competitive with the third-party app stores and provide users something that they cannot gain on the third-party app stores. And knowing Apple, their pitch would be, if you download an app from the App Store, the official App Store, then you know that these apps would have been verified by Apple and are deemed safe to use. Now, you may counter that with pointing out examples like TikTok, but for the most part, the apps in the App Store have to go through a rigorous testing in order to be available to download on the App Store. If you go with the third-party app store, then you may not get that rigorous testing. And at the end of the day, you should make the decision that's best for you, but I just wanted to make sure that you make an educated decision and not get all hyped about the possibility of sideloading. Thank you all for watching this video. Interactions have been really helpful, and I appreciate all of you, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care.